Detroit, baby, we out here. You see what's going on. We activated. We ain't playing no game.
So, you know, just in knowing you, I know that you did end up doing 15 years, if I ain't mistaken, in prison, right?
Yeah, I did 15 years, 9 months, 29 days.
Yes, sir.
I ain't including county jail time. That's just straight penitentiary living.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So what led up to that point? You feel me? Without going into details, but from being in the spot, getting money, working your way up to a lieutenant, how long was it from that to you catching your case?
Oh, sending me penitentiary?
Yeah.
Oh shit, it was years. I ain't going to prison since 1992.
Oh, so you was in the streets for a good period of time.
When I came down, I never went back to Pontiac. 1987 when I got here, I stayed. I never went back except to visit. When I got married, my children, my life, I went to prison from Detroit. So I was catching, I call it murder, 1988. But back then, they ain't changed the laws in terms of waiving you as a juvenile to an adult until 88, 89.
Gotcha.
So back prior to 1989, you can kill a motherfucker, man. Go do 13 months in WJ Maxey, or you can go to Star Commonwealth or some shit, Camp Oakland. Well, for a body, you wouldn't go in no Camp Oakland or Star Commonwealth. You would go like WJ Maxey, Green Oaks. So you can kill a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Back then in Detroit, you kill 2-3 motherfuckers. You go to training school. I was on an old law too. The most you was gonna do was 19, and then they're gonna let you loose. But I know guys, and my own personal situation, I shot a motherfucker in the face at Northland, 1988. I was home 1989. I was back because they wasn't waiving you as no adult.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like the last segment of for them. The waivers started coming in. For they started doing the juvenile life or shit. Yeah, I was.
So during that time when you did, what was that, like a year? You was
13 months.
13 months.
I did 13 months in WJ Maxey.
A bunch of young motherfuckers.
Oh. It was like, they called it the kiddie prison. You know what I'm saying? WJ Maxey was like a step. The worst you could be as a juvenile in Michigan was Green Oaks. Green Oaks was like straight up being in prison, except you was a juvenile. You hear me? WJ Maxey, then Green Oaks was you on your way to penitentiary. When you get to Green Oaks, you might as well, you going to penitentiary.
Facts.
Yeah, you going straight to penitentiary. Straight.
Facts. Yeah. Okay. So now let's fast forward to you actually doing that 15. If you care to talk about the actual case, I mean, you've been charged for it or whatever, but if not, just talk about going into prison and how was that experience for you?
Shit, we was click rolling, bro. So by that time, we had started road running. I like the clique that I was in from the east side. We was like the first cast to start road running. We because it was like, even at that particular point in time, you had so many people operating on the east side of Detroit, bro. It was like congested then. In the late 1980s, the streets was congested. Everybody was selling dope. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't just go to a hood and sell dope, bro. You had to know somebody. Wasn't no just pulling up and opening up a spot there, burn that bitch down and shoot your ass about that bitch. You know what I'm saying? What none of that shit like it is now. You just go where you want to go. Wasn't no going where you wanted to go. Cause think about it. You had the Chambers, you had the Currys, you had Maserati Rick, Best Friends, Demetrius Holloway, the MacTown 2020 motherfuckers. Wasn't no just no go pull up those, open up those spots. Always gonna be a problem.
Thanks.
Your ass gonna be on Bill Bond gonna be talking about your ass. Your ass gonna be in the morgue with that shit. You had to know somebody. You couldn't just pull up at nobody's hood. That's suicide mission. So, you could, but you know it's gonna be a war. So we was on that tip though. We would like violate a motherfucker hood, but once you violate, you know it's on. Yeah, immediate. It's immediate. As soon as they discover that who that, it's up there. So when you did that knowing that it's gonna be a problem. So you had the guns ready. You were ready to go to war. That's on the east side.
For clarity, road running is going out of town.
Yeah. We started road running in 1989. When I came home from shooting motherfucker in the face, my god brother and them was road running already. They was going to Pinehurst, Cedar Grove, North Carolina. They was going to the Zone in Minnesota. But we really kind of like went crazy up in Grand Rapids and Muskegon. Cause at that point in time, like Western Michigan, like from Kalamazoo up to Muskegon, that shit was ran by vice lords and GDs out of Chicago. Chicago has more of a heavy influence on the west side of Michigan than, they have really no influence on the east side, which is Detroit, Saginaw, Flint, shit like that. The east side, Pontiac. On the west side of Michigan, they closer to Chicago, Milwaukee. So it was GD vice lord shit over there. So when we went to Muskegon, well, a cat and our crew, he went to Ferris State. So from Ferris State, he ended up in Muskegon because it ain't that far away. I think fuck with some females. And then he discovered that shit, motherfucker cutting $3,000 an ounce in Muskegon back then. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't doing that in the city. You know what I'm saying? So you can cut at that back then in Muskegon, 88, 89, you can cut $3,500 off of O. So it's like supply and demand. So like, shit, I didn't believe it. My god brother didn't believe it neither. You know what I'm saying? Like, a go, like, what? It's like, man, a dime in Detroit is like a 50 ball, like a 30 ball in Muskegon. Like, serious? Like, yeah, went to Muskegon. I went up there just to kind of like survey the scene. When I went up there, they was really like green as fuck up there, bro. The Chicago motherfuckers running that shit. So we was like, shit, we finna come up here and move this weight up here, right? But the Chicago niggas are not the nicest motherfuckers in the world. We chased their motherfucking ass on real talk, no joke. We chased their ass about that motherfucker. I mean, it was a war. It wasn't no dope selling. It was shooting. You know what I'm saying? Because we had to let these motherfuckers know what it was. You hear me?
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? We didn't go up there talking. We went up there
straight on business.
Quiet at first, though. You know what I'm saying? Because there's two ways you can go out of town and take over a town. One way you can buffalo that shit. You can go and just buffalo your way and shoot and kill and act the fool. And you can go up there. We end up doing that. But the first thing we did was go up there and survey the scene.
Yeah.
Fucking with the females, figuring out who these niggas is and where they come from. Some niggas from Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids niggas was getting they work from niggas from Chicago. Chicago really ran that shit. So we went up there on some surveillance shit trying to figure out what was what. Once we figured out what was what, you know what I'm saying? We bust that bitch open in Muskegon Heights. we busted in the projects in the Heights, bust that bitch open. Immediate response from the Chicago niggas. And they were not the nicest people. There wasn't nothing to talk about. It was immediate.
That's
swift.
Interesting though. That's interesting because for the people now where Detroit got this certain type of reverence from other cities, where it's like everybody know Detroit people go out of town, get like anytime you go out of town.
We original OT niggas.
Yeah. And it's kind of, you saying this story kind of put everything into perspective. Like, you know what I mean? Road running and going to different cities and, you know what I mean? States and stuff like that. And kind of people just knowing like, man, them Detroit mode. You know what I mean? So,
well, you can stay in Detroit. You can stay in Detroit and climb up a hill, or you can go to a small city and take over that bitch.
Facts.
That's what it was. You have less opposition. You know what I'm saying? In that case, we had opposition because Chicago was already there. But you have smaller towns, all throughout the Midwest and lower part of the East Coast where you didn't have opposition. They just wanted a plug. You came with that work. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers are coming to your side of things, bro. That's how it was.
Facts. So you landed yourself in the joint.
Yeah, landed.
Gladiator. Was that Gladiator school?
Hell yeah. Or Bizel. Right. I went to quarantine. And what happened was, I went to quarantine and I got into a fight. I think I was in quarantine 2 days, bro. So they rose my level up, to a very high assault risk and high property risk. Cause when you get into anything in quarantine, when you catch a ticket in quarantine, it automatically raises your level up to the highest because it got different levels in the MDOC. So if you catch like a violent assault ticket, misconduct ticket in that bitch, you in quarantine, you automatically go into high property risk, very high assault risk.
And it's the county quarantine.
No,
you talking about in Jackson
quarantine. Hell yeah, you catch a ticket in quarantine, that shit it has a factor on how you gonna do the rest of your bit. If you catch a fight or assault in quarantine, that has an immediate impact on where you finna go when you leave quarantine. You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't originally scheduled to go to MR. Like I was originally scheduled to go to Carson City first. When I got in that fight, you know what I'm saying? And I got out the hole, got into another fight because I wasn't done. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't done with this shit. You know what I'm saying? it wasn't done. So I went to Gladiator School, MR, and at that point in time, MR, bro, was like 26 and younger. Mm. If you were over 26 at MR, you was a rat on a run, or you was a rat on a run.
Right.
MR was for young niggas. Jackson was for old niggas on level 4 type tip. You know what I'm saying? So MR, just imagine being in a prison where the average sentence is 15 years minimum, average. And the average age of the guy there is 21, 22. You couldn't be over 26 at MR. We knew that if an old head rolled in, he was 35, 40, you a rat, nigga. You on a run around somebody chasing your bitch ass down.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So old head nigga, no, we squeeze they bitch ass, they right into the squeeze. Cause bitch, what you here for?
Right,
where you come from? We gonna send that cat out, figure out what you doing here, nigga.
And that's the thing about it too back then, cause I think they stopped being able to send mail from joint to joint. So it was word went around so
fast.
quick. Yeah.
Fast, like smoke sick like Indians. We smoke that bitch, we get that word back, you bold. Oh, we fucking you up. You hear me? Know what I'm saying? So that's where it was. I went to Gladiator School, man. Back then, it wasn't like it was when they closed it, where you had like doors, it was bars. Know what I'm saying? So it was like extremely violent, bro. I mean, I had been in violent situations in the street, and I had been in violent situations in the training school, in the youth home prior to the training schools, but nothing prepared me for Gladiator School, bro. Because you had motherfuckers in that motherfucker doing 40 to 120, did not care. So, they hadn't even lived life enough to even understand what caring was. It was just like hopeless.
So coming from Jackson, you knew after getting into them fights that you was going to end up going to...
No, I ain't know. I didn't understand how it worked. Okay. I didn't understand how the point system worked. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know how it worked.
So that had to be surprising. Then, like, you feel me? When you actually like, damn, I'm about to...
Yeah, because most of the guys who I came to quarantine with, them motherfuckers going to Carson City Level 1. That Saginaw Flint shit wasn't even open at that point. It wasn't no such thing as no Saginaw and Flint. They wasn't even open yet. But they was going to like, shit, bro. It wasn't no Bellamy Creek, none of that shit when I first went to prison. Wasn't no Bellamy Creek, wasn't no Saginaw, wasn't no Flint. That shit came after they built those after I was there like 8-9 years already in penitentiary, right? But guys who I know, they was going like Ken Ross, shit like that, like level 2 shit.
Right.
Level 1 shit. You know what I'm saying? They sent my dumb ass right to the motherfucking, right to Gladiator School. It was up there, bro. They let us off the bus, off the Snowbird, and put us in that bitch. We went through it was like a little quarantine floor. And I block, I think I-2 was like, I-1 was quarantine, because MR had their own quarantine floor. They put you there first, then you go through like a little programming, what you need, GED, what you need, job, whatever you need type shit. You go through that shit, then you be there for like a couple of weeks. They put you in regular population. You know what I'm saying? And once the regular population is up on the motherfucking floor, I think the first day that I went to regular population, I seen motherfucker die, get stabbed in the kitchen doing breakfast. Breakfast time, nigga killed the motherfucker right. I was the table over, motherfucker stabbed motherfucker in the neck. I stabbed him as many times as he could before the COs got there, killed him. Damn. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, I grabbed my food, moved my tray, blood splattered everywhere. I moved my tray to the next table, kept on eating my shit. No, because it was a Saturday. They moved everybody on Friday. The next morning was a Saturday. Saturday pancake waffle day. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm hungry. I'm eating my motherfucking waffle. I don't give a fuck nigga just died. I moved my tray, mind my business.
That's damn near like the best damn tray in that mug.
Yeah, nigga be starved. I'll get them getting waffles. You hear me?
Straight up.
Niggas get killed on waffle day more than any other day, because niggas owe niggas some money. Niggas gonna be just some whole shit, but niggas gonna try to sneak to the child hall, get their waffles and pancakes on Saturday morning. They gonna try to sneak early. No, ain't no sneaking early, nigga. They gonna kill you up in that bitch, or try to at least.
Real talk.